Hi everyone, Comic Reviewer here, this time doing another Halloween review. And this one is on The Simpsons Treehouse of Horror issue 17. Now the story I'm mainly going to review is Harvest of Fear. Now it is meant to spoof, parody, and even take the mick out of old 60s and 50s Pulp Fiction comics. And I know that Stephen King also did something similar to one called Creepshow. And the story starts off with Bart purchasing the comic saying, "Jumping Jiminy Carters, what's this?" So Bart has a look, and Snake says, "Good eye, little man, that's a EC knockoff." And he points out about how that there was a EC horror comics and they were so successful that had imitators after imitators. And this happens a lot nowadays with people like Angry Video Game Nerd, myself, as well as other YouTubers who tend to take off other people's success. So Bart happens to like the comic and pretty much buys it, and turns out the stuff belongs to Hunt's Moman, who says, "How did all my furniture get out here? On the lawn, where's my cliff fall?" So after Bart reads some itchy and scratchy comics, he mainly starts reading the comic he got from Snake. And the story is like what horror-themed comics are. They start off with, "Johnny, what are you doing?" "Just having a little fun with this turtle." "Gosh, I think I'm gonna throw up." And so pretty much Jimmy leaves off in that, and the kids pretty much call him like a bad person, and pretty much Johnny's like, "Ma, I'm home." "Hey, Ma, why are all the lights off?" And so pretty much Johnny's mum talked with him about being comfortable in his skin, and his sister shows up as well, and turns out they've spiked his drink, and turns out they become quilt people, who says, "You start with the feet, sis, and I'll start with the scalp. We'll meet in the middle. I love you, Ma." "I need more beer." And so, understandably, Bart's horrified and stays up all through the night and into the morning. And Marge says, "Lisa, will you go and get Bart? He's late for breakfast. Ma's a parasite, let him starve." So pretty much Bart starts to see the horror and everything else, saying, "Brutally squealed fresh." What? So it turns out Bart's become so paranoid and delusioned, he pretty much blames the comic and then continues to read it. The next one's called A Fine Brove of a Boy. And in this story, someone buys all the comics, and so after pretty much find out where the person who's been buying them is, and he's like, "Huh? What if I am? Well, would you be willing to sell me a few? I'm hunting. Why should I?" And so he reconsiders and shows him all the stuff, and then something horrible happens, which Bart finds out that the page been cut out, and Comic Book Guy points out that the writer as well as the founder had cut out every last bit of the page, and was even put in a kind of collector's book. So pretty much Bart manages to find the address and goes on his own for Milhouse, who refuses to take him to his birthday to the textiles factory. But Milhouse's like, "That's okay, Bart, you can still come. I can never stay mad at you." So Bart pretty much meets the creator of the comic and says, "You found him, kid. Yours truly, Morby Mort." And so Morby pretty much points out why he doesn't talk about the comic, but after Bart suggests and tries to put it on him, he ends up turning into something worse, and much like it, is a parody of the cut ending. So the story is not bad. I think it has the same elements to the Stephen King film Creepshow, and I think it does well in basically parodying Pulp Fiction comics. So it deserves a thumbs up. Still good and still alright. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.